The average person is said to spend 15 minutes in the bathroom. Why not take advantage of that time and learn something new? Presenting the 15-minute podcast on weird facts, crazy details, and funny particulars that you'll be able to enjoy while you're taking a on your free time. Welcome to This Shit with Sam Butler. Welcome to another episode of the Shit Podcast. I have a very special guest with us today, a good friend of mine from Leyendas Legendarias podcast and El Dollop. My friend Eduardo Espinosa. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, it's great having you back. Our first English episodes were pretty successful. Everybody was like, whoa, that doesn't even sound like him. So it's cool that
I'm a different person when I speak English, apparently.
Yeah, no, I have a guy that works with me in my business, and he goes, why does that guy sound like that? I would never expect the guy to talk that well, and I was like, because I've heard him.
That's a weird backhanded compliment.
He goes, I've heard him in Spanish, but he speaks really good English, so it was pretty cool. I was like laughing the whole time he was telling me. I was like, nah, it's cool, man. These guys are cool. I mean, we have a very unique topic. It's kind of cool. I've came across this. I think it's, I thought it was pretty badass. Actually, we're going to talk about Khutulun. It's like Khutulun. Mm-hmm. Khutulun.
Okay.
Right? I know it's hard. I had to Google the pronunciation. I was like Khutulun. It was almost like a CH sound, I guess. Khutulun. Yeah, it's KH though. Khutulun. Well, Khutulun was a princess.
Okay.
She was a Mongolian princess. Her great.
I don't remember that Disney movie.
Well, actually, once I started researching and I realized that I had come across this princess in a Netflix TV show, and I went, oh yeah, I remember now. But what was cool about this, let's say Khutulun, probably right, Khutulun. She was a great granddaughter of Genghis Khan.
Aren't we all?
No. We don't eat bats, bro. No, I'm just kidding. No, Genghis Khan, of course, he was, the Mongolian leader that conquered all of Asia and so on and so forth. And
not a nice guy, apparently.
I watched that. Marco Polo on Netflix.
Oh yeah, on Netflix.
And it kind of gave you a different perspective on.
I mean, he was looking out for his people.
Yeah,
by wiping out everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a very interesting thing when I watched that episode because he hold on, give me a second. Because he was actually kind of a fair guy, the Khan.
Okay.
Right? And yeah, they were wiping out civilizations, but I think everybody's wiping out civilizations.
Yeah, it was England's favorite pastime for hundreds of years.
I think that's the hard part, and I don't want to get too political here because that's not what this is about. But I think that's the hard part for people to understand. I mean, I hear it all the time. It's like it's not fair. The colonizers took advantage, so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, you kind of got conquered. You lost. And that's what happens when you lose. At least now we're still around. And I'm saying this as a Mexican and an American. It's like my mom's side of the family had to survive. And they did. So I'm grateful for that. But I mean, you look at these genocides and you look at these different. It's always been one race trying to take over another race.
Yeah.
And it's always and so the Khan was the same way, and this was his great granddaughter. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna jump back here for a minute, because I have some notes on her. Her father was Kiadu, right? And he was the most powerful ruler of Central Asia. He reigned in the realms of Western Mongolia to Oxus and from the Central Siberian Plateau to India.
How I wish I knew geography right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
It's pretty big, right?
big area, especially for that time.
Yeah,
And
so it's like pretty much everything south of Russia.
pretty much, I think even into Russia.
Okay.
Because it's right up there. She was a warrior, though, this princess.
Cool.
Right? So she actually rode alongside her father and would capture people. And they tried to take over.
Look, Daddy, I got one.
Yeah.
You're doing great, honey.
They tried
Cut
to
his head off.
they fought against the Yuan dynasty, trying to take that. But this is what was like super interesting about this princess. And I'm going to read this kind of verbatim. There's a few articles on it. But Khutulun insisted that any man who wished to marry her must defeat her in wrestling.
Okay. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting, right? So it's like, you want to marry me? You got to beat me in wrestling.
You got to wrestle me in the nude, in the mud.
Well, this is the thing. You had to bet some horses.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
first of all, you had to have horses.
You have to have horses. Yeah, that's actually kind of not a bad thing, right? Like be like, hey, you have horses? No, okay, you can't even.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're disqualified.
Yeah, ladies,
from the
learn
get-go.
learn from that. They don't have a car. They live with their mom. They can't wrestle you. You shouldn't let them wrestle with you in the mud naked. It's like
No. Then how are you going to get back?
you don't have a job. It's like you don't have a job. You live with your mom. You don't have a car. No wrestling. But she won. Nobody defeated her.
Oh, shit.
She stockpiled over 10,000 horses.
Wow.
10,000.
How do you feed 10,000?
Well, she was a princess.
Anything?
She was a princess.
True.
I mean, they let them roam, but could you imagine how many dudes wanted to end up with her?
I mean, she was a princess. So.
She was a princess. Oh, and that's the other thing about the Mongolian, because they were nomadic. They were nomadic tribes, so you could imagine that they're roaming all these different parts of the land and all their horses and all of their different pastures and so on and so forth, right? Well, part of the deal was that it didn't matter what your social status was. You had a right to marry the princess.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. That's
so, so if you didn't have a car, not if you didn't, socialism, yeah. You had a right. You had a right, but she was like, yeah, but you got to wrestle me. She never lost. She never lost.
I don't know if that's good for her or bad for her. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, sure, you have a lot of horses.
Yeah, I have a lot of horses. Well, she loved war, and she was a good warrior.
It's like I have a lot of horses, but I have no one to ride.
I have no one to ride. That's a dirty joke. Yeah. Well, it gets a little worse. Well, there was a lot of speculation because there was two gentlemen that wrote about her. Let me see if I can go back to here. One of them was obviously Marco Polo. Mm-hmm. He was the Venetian traveler and the Persian historian Rashad al-Din. So there was different accounts of what happened and why she eventually got married. She did not get defeated into marriage.
But she got married.
But she got defeated nonetheless. No, but
she didn't get defeated, but she gave up.
She settled. Up. She settled in. Well, they say that she was having an incestuous.
I think that's the
incestuous
word.
relationship with her father, and that would have been looked bad upon, obviously, and brought reproach to his name as her father. I don't know why, right? But that's what one of the deals say.
Theories is okay.
One of the theories say is that. The other theory was that
not only did she ride alongside her father.
This is the PGX XX the shit episode. We're talking shit today, but she would ride with her father, and she was worried about that. That's one account. The other account is that she married a prisoner who had tried to assassinate her father but failed. That sounds like daddy. That sounds like daddy issues, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like he's a
I mean,
real.
both of them are daddy issues.
Oh yeah, I know. But that's a real like us. Like I love the bad boy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's really a bad boy.
Yeah.
Didn't she? But she finally agreed to take a husband. She was undefeated, a wrestler. She was unchallenged as a wrestler after that, and they wanted to name her the next Khan. But of course, her brothers didn't like that.
Well, of course not.
And she was. And it's funny. I mean, we're talking about incest, but she was her father's favorite. That's what the article says.
I hope that only means that.
I hope so too. You know what it's like.
That he really liked her.
Yeah.
And not that he was having an incestuous relationship with
hope,
everybody.
Yeah. No. Come on, guys. I mean, it's bad enough. I mean.
Yeah.
No.
I mean. Yeah.
But anyways, let's just assume that she fell in love with the assassin.
All right.
All right. But they try to get her. They try to keep her from becoming the Khan, and she did not become the Khan, so they succeeded. And when her father died in 1301, she guarded his grave. I don't know why she would have to guard his grave, but she guarded.
I don't know. Is it like a tradition or something, or is it just because she was worried that they might?
Yeah, I think she was. Let me see if I can find that.
Because there are some traditions like within warrior cultures, and they do that sometimes too, right? Here, like in the U.S., you have
well, we do have the unknown soldier.
Yeah.
The grave of the
unknown soldier.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
You always have there's always a guard outside.
There's always a guard. He's always marching. Have you seen videos of people trying to disrespect the unknown soldiers?
No.
They're on YouTube. Yeah, those guys get mad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's like it's a ceremonial thing, but they'll jack you up. You know.
Yeah,
like,
you're being a dick.
Yeah, no. There's videos in there. Just like, so she guards her father's tomb. With some help of some of the men, I guess, and she was kind of known she's known as Asia's like baddest ass woman warrior.
Yeah, she sounds like a badass. I mean,
so
if she got that many horses,
10,000
by beating
horses,
people up.
Yeah. So there's
How many horses do you have by beating people up? I have none.
None. Yeah. Matter of fact, I've had to give away a few horses.
Twice now.
I'm in debt. I'm like 4 horses under. You know, I'm gonna work the rest of my life to pay back some horses. You know, yeah. But Khutulun was a badass, a woman, and undefeated wrestler. And here's to her. Cheers to her.
Yeah.
She did die in 1306, so she died about 5 years after her father.
Well, you know what? You know what they say, like when the love of your life dies.
Yeah, it's like,
only lasts a few years.
She's like, the Notebook was a bunch of BS. You can never die at the same time. But that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Shit Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Let me check something here real quick. Yeah, I think we're good. We forgot to set our timers.
No, we're good. We're like, I think we got like a couple of minutes more.
We got a couple more minutes. That's cool. Well, I mean, if you do get a chance, I watched that whole series, Marco Polo, on Netflix. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw the first. I think there's 2 seasons, right? I watched the
two seasons or something. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked how at the end of it, they just plant like this cross, you know, and you're going like, yeah, it's gonna be all over for you guys. I'm sorry. You know.
Oh yeah, we know how that ends.
You know how that ends. Yeah,
it's never good.
But thank you all for joining us in this episode of The Shit.
I'm just gonna be picturing what's her name, Khutulun or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be picturing her as Xena the Warrior Princess.
Xena,
I'm gonna watch this episode after we release it, and I'm gonna imagine her as Xena the Warrior Princess.
You're gonna be like, I got a horse for you. I think I can throw a couple horses in there. No, I think so. I mean, she was an undefeated wrestler, you know. So
yep.
Yeah, could you imagine 10,000 horses?
That's a lot of horses, and I
don't know. Like at that point, if you want to get with her because you like her, or because you just want to prove that you're a better wrestler than her, you know?
I don't know.
Could you imagine if you had beaten her and they go, "Oh man, what did I beat her for? I didn't even want to be with her."
Man, now I have to take care of 10,000 horses.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
And this weird lady's gonna call me daddy in bed.
I'm gonna call her daddy. Yes, Daddy, leave me alone. This episode got weird, bro. But
You started it.
yeah. But thank you. Where can people find you on your social media?
Everybody can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff at Ningun Eduardo. That's like Ningun Eduardo. And you can find links there to everything I'm doing.
Yeah, you can find me as Tu Amigo Sam pretty much everywhere. YouTube, the different podcast platforms. I'm as Ta Cagado Podcast. We want to thank you for joining us on this episode. And hey, if you find your Catula out there, you go for it, man. Bet a couple horses. I just want to say I want to dedicate this episode to my good friend Sean Ryan, who passed away last week suddenly in a car accident. This episode's for you, buddy. Wherever you're at, miss you, man.
Rest in peace, John.
Rest in peace.